a Melbourne polio survivor, is furious that many people are still hesitant when it comes to having the COVID vaccine. Geoff O'Brien contracted polio in 1953 at just 2 years of age, and just 3 years before the Salk vaccination arrived in Australia. He wore metal callipers to support his legs and plaster casts at night until he was 12 years old. More than 65 years later, Geoff suffers from post-polio symptoms. He says if it wasn't for the high polio vaccination rates, we'd still have the disease in Australia. Geoff O'Brien joins us now. Geoff, thanks so much for your time. You are a survivor indeed, and you have a pretty strong message to people that are hesitating about getting the COVID vaccine this morning.
Yes, good morning, Laura. Yes, I did have a very strong message. So, I thought I'd write to the newspaper about it because there are people just refusing to have the vaccination. I have 3 carers coming in Monday, Wednesday and Friday to shower me, and there's some carers refusing to have the vaccination, and that's not safe for especially when they're dealing with elderly people and disabled people. It's not safe at all. But then really everybody should have the vaccination because I know from experience if we didn't have the polio vaccination, there would be babies everywhere because it mostly affects infants.
Yeah, so that's right.
Babies.
Jeff, I guess you've lived in an era, and perhaps many of us haven't lived in an era where vaccines have been so vitally important. So I guess your message this morning, and it's a very strong one, you just want to say to people that you need to get vaccinated in order to return to normal life, but also to protect others.
Yes, that's right. It's protect everybody. It's protect yourself, your friends, your family, and the community, the whole community, because there's not vaccines getting out to South Africa, so they're a bit slow over there getting them because the poorer countries are missing out, but there's still polio. It's still contracted in the world today. In Pakistan and even as close as New Guinea, we're still having it. Whereas in Australia, it's been eradicated. But people like in their 30s or 40s, whatever, just don't understand, what it's like to go through an epidemic.
Indeed.
It was. People were in a panic stage in the early 50s. They were keeping children out of school, out of swimming pools, because it's the same as what it is today. But as I say, if it wasn't for the polio vaccine, we'd be in dire straits.
Well, Geoff, your message is a potent one, and we thank you for making it on AIM Agenda this morning. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks very much for having me on.